After a tough overtime win against Drake, the Iowa Hawkeyes look to keep it going with a pretty good game against Kansas State here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SlasherU. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and we're going to break down this game of the unbeatens, number 4 Iowa, taking on Kansas State. 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night. ESPN Plus is where you're going to see this one. Steve, this is a really good game. I'm looking forward to this, especially after what we saw from Iowa in that Drake outing.
That was a back and forth, hard fought basketball game. We talked about it at length when we did a post game review of what was going on there. So now we're going to do a little interactive session here, and you can play, Christian, with this.
Okay.
How long can I go without mentioning Caitlin Clark?
I'm giving it 30 seconds or less. So we're probably -0 because you already said her name.
Right. But okay. 10-second violation by the feckless wonder because I could watch Clark shooting on an endless loop.
Yeah.
I honestly, God, I could, rather than watching a game, I could just watch her shoot. And it's kind of a cool thing because she does lead the nation in scoring at 24.7 points.
She sure does.
And then Raven Johnson is, with each game with South Carolina, is making me perhaps have to hedge my bet about me calling Caitlin Clark the most exciting women's basketball player at Division I level. But so far, Caitlin Clark is still holding on to that crown. You know what's really weird with the Lady Hawkeyes is they're struggling at the free throw line. And I want to say you brought that up when we were doing the Drake Iowa post-game analysis.
Yep.
And they led the nation last year. I mean, by a comfortable margin in free throw shooting. So maybe that's just a aberration. But I part of this game is going to be a disappointment because this was supposed to be the matchup of two of the premier centers in the women's game. Monica Sedano for Iowa, she had a career game against Drake, 36 points. She's now averaging 23 points a game. Yeah. Good job on the rebounds. She has that nice little nasty streak, but she still keeps a smile on her face. Like when a play finishes, she doesn't, get all, she just sort of just slyly smiles. But she is a tough matchup inside. And unfortunately, Ioka Lee for Kansas State, who set the NCAA record for points in a game last year with 61 against Oklahoma, she is out for the year with a knee injury. So that big matchup, which would have made this game even bigger, has sort of, it's tarnished it to a degree. What's kind of interesting, though, is that Kansas State started 5 guards because they're missing Lee and they don't really have, another presence like that on the inside. They started 5 guards in their opening game, and it worked out pretty well for them. Right. I mean, without Lee, I think they were a top 15, top 20 team preseason that Lee had not gotten hurt. I don't think Kansas State's going to roll over and play dead, conference, but Iowa, I think, just needs to have progression with each tough game they play. They just need to, whatever they might have struggled with in the game before. Let's work on that. See how they've made the adjustments. Iowa's in my preseason Final Four. I think it's Stanford and South Carolina, and then the rest of the pack, really. But I would put Iowa there at number 3. I think they're ranked number 4, but I would put Iowa as the 3rd best team in the country. I just want to see, especially given the fact that they're going to go small on Kansas State and they're going to play that perimeter game. I wonder if this is going to be a shooting gallery, which would be a lot of fun as well. If you can't have that inside battle, let's just have threes flying all over the place on both sides and see how the game turns out.
Cesano should have a great game because of the fact that Kansas State plays a lot of guards. I mean, Gabby Gregory, the senior, has been fantastic for Kansas State. And then the 2 sophomores behind her, and Glenn and Sundell, have also been great too. So the guard play is working for Kansas State. this is going to be a whole new, really, game plan or strategy, if you will, that Iowa's going to see this year so far. Kansas State had a dominant win against Wisconsin, 14-point win. When you go into this game, though, it is in Kansas State. Got to keep that in mind. Home court matters.
Yes.
I think Kansas State, I don't want to say they have a sure thing chance, but they definitely can stay in this one. I think this is the game that we have seen throughout the season so far, with the exception of the Drake game. Iowa just completely crushed their opponents. I can see this game being more like the Drake game, where this game is a lot closer, where it stays pretty close throughout the game, and then Caitlin Clark, Cesano, and the Hawkeyes slide away with it towards the end of the game. I'm gonna take the Hawkeyes to win this one, but not by much, Steve. I think this one's worth watching. This is a good nightcap to put on, and I'll be doing it, and I know you'll be doing it as well.
Yeah, between this game, and the Charleston Classic, I might need to get one of those little potty chairs so I don't have to actually get up and go to the bathroom. Because I want to miss really a second of any of the games going on, today. So I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of accommodations to figure out. I'm sure with my senior citizen, healthcare, I could get one of those sent to me pretty much right away, free. So this is going to be such a great day of basketball.
Yes,
and as much fun as the March tournaments are and the conference tournaments, and conference play, of course, is always great and very intense. There's something special about non-conference games, especially early games leading into the Thanksgiving holiday, coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday, and then through Christmas. It's it might be Christmas for me. This might be my Christmas Eve, about 6 or 8 weeks too early, watching all of the games on TV today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great outing. If you're watching this game, let us know your predictions in the comments below. Or if you're watching another game on Thursday night, we didn't cover it, let us know in the comments what game you're watching and who you think is going to win that one. Again, Iowa taking on Kansas State. Number 4, Iowa, looking to keep their hopes alive and keep moving forward up that ranking. We know a new ranking is going to come out next week with some movement in that top 4, because number 1 and number 2 play each other. We know something's happening, and so we can see if Iowa can keep holding on and move to 4-0 after this game Thursday night at 9 p.m.